Alright, here we have our hummingbird garden again, and this is one of the side views of the planter, or it's actually part of the house where I've planted a little bit of salvia and a lot of rose moss. This is kind of our red welcome mat, if you will, that we put out for the hummingbirds, kind of attract them as they're flying by. They see the red, they stop, and they go, oh, hey, there's a meal down there somewhere. Kind of hope they'll see the salvia, which is right there. They do feed on that. One of the things that we have a lot of is petunia. There's quite a few petunia plants in amongst everything that we have here as you look around. Some of them aren't doing so well. They were doing well earlier in the year, and now it's August. And the move partially, but you'll see there's a lot of petunia. They're on the list of things for hummingbirds. I think ruby throats in particular, which is what we get here in Indiana, and which I had in Ohio. Petunias are on the list. Now, this type of petunia, which I don't really know the name of, doesn't seem to attract few, if any, hummingbirds. So there is another type of petunia, which I have over here in this planter, and it is called a Raging Cajun. You can see the nice red flower on it, and it really looks good. And you do see the hummingbirds come to it. The ruby throats that we have here come to it quite frequently. Again, most of our planters, you'll find that we have red flowers. We have a lot of other colors as well. There's some pink in here, but the red flowers are definitely the welcome mat. And we have out a few feeders for the hummingbirds as well. That I put together have red as kind of a welcome mat. Put them out, hopefully where the hummingbirds will see them, and it should attract them. Going over here, this is our favorite, the hummingbird's favorite, the Chipea ignea. Lots of visits. One female we have here, she has fed on this plant extensively. She's also visited the cardinal climber. But definitely Chipea ignea is her favorite, and we put a little feeder down in there. Hopefully she'll find the feeder and learn that she can feed from that, but so far she's pretty much a plant bird and hasn't learned about feeders. Over here, growing on the fence in just about peak season, is the cardinal climber. They definitely feed on that. Nice red blooms. I try and time these so that they're flowering around the migration of the males, which starts, I guess, in late July to early August, mid-August. The adult males all start migrating south. You'll still see some males, but they'll mostly be juveniles, either a light throat with some dark spots in it. Sometimes it's hard to tell them from the females. We have this in two places, actually three places in the yard. There's a trellis out front, which we have this, and then there's another place over here with our morning glory, which we just kind of like. We've seen morning glories listed on the list for hummingbirds, but I don't really ever see them going to the morning glory to feed. However, the cardinal climber again is definitely probably number 2 on the list of flowers that we have. Alright, here we have our cardinal climber at its peak, and it's doing quite well. It's really flowering out well. We're at the just about coming up on the end of migration. Got another 2 weeks for the juveniles. Actually, we have a hummingbird on the backside right now. You can't really see him, but he's there. He is. He's enjoying his feed, and he's now. There we go. So they definitely like this flower. I don't know how much they get from it, but you can see he's making every attempt to get every little bit he can. Again, this is cardinal climber, and we like to have it in peak condition for the fall migration, which is about where we're into right now. I think this little guy is a migrant. He's real nervous when I get up and move around, so I don't think he's one of the previous birds who pretty much tolerated me whenever I was around. They didn't mind me too much in the yard, but this little guy is definitely enjoying the flowers, as you can see. A little stair-step type of planter. Again, we have the salvia and the rose moss. Each one of the planters, with the exception of two of them, have salvia and rose moss of different colors. Salvia, of course, is all red. Again, it's our red welcome mat for hummingbirds. The Empress of Indias have a nice red flower, kind of an orangish red, and it starts out as a bright red, and as it ages turns into kind of a an orangish red flower. I really like them. The foliage is neat, so that's why they're here. Actually, the wife and I both like this flower, so we put it in our pots. Couple of our other planters here, again, a mix of the Empress of India, a lot of rose moss, and I think that's about it in that one. Again, we have some red flowers here along with the yellow and white. And another planter with salvia and Empress of India, and a lot of rose moss. There's some nice pink ones over there. Those are pretty nice. Let's see if we can zoom in on one of those. And they look pretty decent. And this planter, of course, gets visited with the red. And we have several. Here again we have our salvia, and this one also has the Cardinal Climber in it, or pardon me, not Cardinal Climber, but the Raging Cajun in it. That one is a pretty recent planter, so it's not quite taken off. These last couple planters are the same way. Again, more rose moss, more Raging Cajun, and a little feeder that looks like it's been visited quite a bit, in fact. Kind of doing that, hoping that this one particular older female will recognize that as a food source, and while she's out on her travels south here in the next month or two, she'll recognize that. She hasn't seemed to have gone to any of the feeders so far, but I keep hoping, so we keep changing the stuff out and putting them out for her, hoping that she'll kind of tap into one and go, oh, hey, that's pretty good. Our last planter over here actually is a mix of a plant that I'm not real familiar with. The wife, I think this is the one the wife bought. And it's kind of neat, and so we put it in there along with our other chipia. Hopefully this thing will start growing. We got started really late this year, and so our chipias aren't doing like what they should. But again, we have the salvia, more of a red welcome mat, and we have kind of our nursery here. We have the Raging Cajuns, and there's one in the back. And our chipia nursery, again, a late start. Those are all just recent cuttings that it just got planted. And then we have one, unfortunately this year, we only had one Raging Cajun that actually is a new plant. Planted quite a few, but didn't have much luck. And we have our Snapdragon bed that we pull plants from when we need to fill planters. A little bit of rose moss, and then our rose moss planter down below, which you can see that we use for our source for new rose moss plants as we create planters. So anyway, that's the Hummingbird Garden for this year for the ruby throats, and we'll see you again next year.